Now we have to see what are the different situations or the industry or somewhere else where the Hive has been used. So we have seen these examples that Hive has been used. Hive is going to be used in the data mining, log processing, and whatever the business intelligence type of property there the Hive has been Hive is going to be used. Now we have to see what are the different components of the Hive. So Hive, like the other shell scripting, it's have one of the feature that is the shell. Then we have the meta store. What is this meta store? This meta store is simply the warehouse where each and every schema of the data what we are creating in our HDFS will be stored. This is simply the meta store, and this meta store is only for the Hive, not for the remaining Hadoop cluster. Then we have one execution engine which is responsible for executing your Hive QL, that is the Hive query language. Then we have compiler and driver. So this is the only basic and the small architecture of the Hive. Next, we have seen something about the meta store. So first we have to see what are the different limitations of the Hive. So Hive is almost similar to the database language like the other relational database such as the MySQL and the Oracle, but it is not the actual database. It is only the similar to that one. So this is the one of the drawback. Second one is that it is the only for the some query processing. It is not used for the online transaction processing. So whatever the situation you are going to face for the online transaction processing, you have to go for the any other technology. In that case, the Hive will not be used. And in the RDBMS, what we have to do? We have the commands for insert, update, delete, and each and everything. So where the situation or the problem is there, if we have to update our query each and every time after the particular interval, then for that situation the Hive is not supported. Why? Because this update command is not found in the Hive. So we have to see the architecture. This architecture we have already discussed in the last class. And still, if you have any query in this working of the Hive, we have already seen what is the first step. From the Hive interface, the command is going to be sent to first driver. Then from driver it will contact through the compiler, and whatever the work we have the same schema will be stored in the meta store. And after this meta store, again it will return back to compiler. Then from driver, again from this driver, what will happen? Whatever the query you are going to type, it will be sent to the execution engine for your execution of the query. And that from query, if it is needed, it will go and contact with this Hadoop part, that is the MapReduce and HDFS, and from there it will provide you the complete output to the interface portion. So the same steps, whatever the steps where we are seeing here the numbers 1 to 10, so the complete steps is mentioned in the theoretical portions as this one. So here the first step, that is the execute query, second get plan. So all it is a very much similar. Once you start reading these slides, you may be able to clear the all the points. Okay, then we have some comparison between what is the differences between the SQL and HiveQL. What is the differences and what is the similarity? So for that we have to make the comparison between both of them. So what is the first feature on which we are going to make the comparison between the Hive on the SQL? So the first feature is the update. This update is present in the SQL, means update, insert and delete, all three are present in the SQL. But in the case of HiveQL, that is the SQL, only the insert command is present. Remaining the update and delete are not present. So for this, this is the one of the reason why we are not using the HiveQL in most of the time as the replacement for the SQL. Next command, we have the next feature, we have the transactions. So here, what is the transaction we are going to do? It will be in the case of SQL, all the type of transaction will be supported. Okay, but in the case of HiveQL, the transactions only that is related to the table partition will be done. means that is something related to the Hadoop, and Hadoop cluster will be only supported, not the normal transactions. In the case of this indexes is available in both one, the SQL and the HiveQL. Then we have the latency. So latency is simply the, what is latency? Can anybody answer this question? What is latency? Is there anyone present who can give me the answer? What is latency? No one. Okay.
Latency is basically the throughput which is coming.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's the simply the time taking to execute one.
Taking.
Yeah. So
yeah,
latency is something the time taken for executing one particular query. Okay. So this is the latency. So in the case of SQL, it is very fast. It will take only some seconds. But in the case of the HiveQL, it takes some minutes. So there is some drawback of this HiveQL and some benefit of this HiveQL. Both are present. Now we have to see what are the different types of the data types that are present in the SQL. So in the SQL, we have the integral type, floating point also, fixed point also, text, binary, all are present. What is this temporal? Can anybody answer this one? Temporal. What is the use of this temporal?
Used for the date.
Yeah. So this temporal is used for the date and something that is related with the calendar type. Okay. So that we have the temporal. I think the Java peoples may be clear with this one, because this temporal is used there in the Hibernate also. At the rate temporal annotation is there.
The annotation is there.
Yeah. So where you have to select the date and something like that. Then in the case of HiveQL, we can see some extra features also. Here integers are present, floating points, booleans. That boolean is not present in the SQL, but in the HiveQL we have the booleans, text, binary strings that are also present in the SQL. Then we have the timestamp for the particular time. Okay, that is the related somewhat related to the temporal only, but temporal is related only with the date. Here timestamp, it will contain the time along with the date. So extra one is the array, map and struct. What is a struct? So that is, you may be familiar with the C language, then you can have the idea about this struct, that is known as the structure. Okay. Then we have some of the features that is known as the function. So in the case of SQL, we have hundreds of inbuilt function. Okay. But in the case of HiveQL, we have less inbuilt functions. Okay. Then we have the multiple inserts. In the case of SQL, it doesn't support, but in the case of the HiveQL, these multiple inserts are possible. Same data can be inserted multiple times in a single query. Now we have some other features that is known as a create table as select. So this is supported in HiveQL, but it is not supported in some part of the SQL. Next, select. What is the purpose of the select? You may better know, because it's a very and the first most command of the any database, select, for getting the or retrieving the values from the table or the database. Then we have joins. So in the case of SQL, we also have the joins, and in the case of HiveQL, we have also certain types of the joins. So for that, what are the different joins, how it's working, you have to do the query, then it will be clear to you. But almost all the joins are similar to this SQL only. Then we have the subqueries. So here what is happening in the case of SQL, this subquery can be used anywhere. Okay, but in the case of HiveQL, this subquery can be used only in the form from clause. Okay. Now we have the views. What is view? View is simply the duplicate duplication of the table. Okay, what is present in the table, we can just access through the view, but we cannot modify. We cannot have the permission to update and modify if we are using the view. This is only for the safety. Whatever the operation you want to do, you can do with the view, and if you are anything doing extra thing, it will not reflected in your table. Now next we have to see what are the different data types that are present only in the Hive, not in the other ones. So here Hive data types has been classified basically into 4 groups. So first group is something that is known as the column types, second one is the literals, third one is the null values, fourth one is the complex types. Now we have to see what these different data types, how it is different from the others one. So for first one, what is the first one? That is the column type. So in the column types, we have also, there are so many different subtypes. So for the column types data, we have the first type that is known as the integral type, that is related with some integer. So in most of the cases we are familiar with the byte, short, int, long, okay, for the integral part in Java programming language. So similar to that one, we have the integral data type that is known as the teeny int, small int, int and big int. Big int is somewhat similar to the long, int is same as the int, small int that is the short, and teeny int that is approx equal to the byte. So how it is working, when you are going to write the query, it will be clear. Then after the integral type, we have the second type that is known as the string type. So this string type is also present in the SQL, okay. So that is the varchar for the variable characters, and its range is given, that is the 1 to 65335, that is approx 2 raised to 15. Then we have the second data type for the string, we have the character, that is the maximum range is 255, okay. Then next type, the third type in the column data type we are having, that is the timestamp. So this timestamp, as we know, this timestamp contains the date along with the times. So for that purpose we are using the timestamps. In the timestamp we have the separate type that is known as the date. Then after that integral part, that is the first part in the column, that is the integral part, we have the second type that is known as the decimal. Like the other language, after the integer part we have the floating point, in that floating point we have the decimals. So here the decimals will contains some precision and scale, that is similar to the Java, okay. Then next one type, we have the union types. What is exactly meaning of the union types? This union type, when you are going to define any data as the union type, it will take a collection of the heterogeneous data types, like the array list in the Java or any collection in the Java. What is the feature of the collections in Java? Any answers from your side? Is there anyone who is going to answer this question?
What is the collection of?
My question is, what is collections in Java?
This can contain different types of objects.
Yeah. So, but in the case of the array, yeah, in the case of the array, we can store only the homogeneous data type. So for that purpose, we have the heterogeneous data types and homogeneous both data types can be used in the collection. And one of your friend has answered along with the some details that what are the collections, like list, set and map, whatever we have. Okay, so this union type is used to simply select the heterogeneous type of the data in your Hive. Okay, one example is also given there. It is containing the integer type, double type, array type, structure type. Okay, now next we have to see what is the next data type available in the HiveQL. So in the Hive we have the first data type that is known as the columnar. In the column type we have the string, floating, timestamp, date, whatever we have seen till now. Now after the second data type, means after the first one we have the second data type in the HiveQL, that is known as the literals. What are the meaning of the literals? So these literals are also similar to the our Java languages. Okay, it may be floating types or the decimal types. So what is the difference between the floating and the decimal? Floating type simply contains the value. In the Java it is contains the values 7 value, 10 bits after the 10 digit, means 7 digits after the decimal, or the decimal type, that is the double type, it contains up to 15 digit. Okay, then we have the third type, that is the null type. What is null? We are aware of that null. If nothing is given, it is simply the null. It doesn't mean that it is blank. Null will also store some value, that is the garbage value. Then Last one, we have the complex type of data. What are the different complex type of data you know in any language? Not in the Hive. Whatever the data means, whatever the language, technical language you know, in that there may be certain complex type of data. Can you give one example for that complex data types? Don't see on the screen. It's already present. What are the different different complex data type that is available in Java? Any example?
List is there. Data type array list.
No, that is not the data type. Leave the collection. Leave the collection. Apart from the collection, what you are going to tell? So see, we have the totally 8 primitive data types. That is the byte, short, int, boolean, float, long. Okay, so, character. So apart from these 8 primitive data types, whatever the data types we are having, that is known as the complex type data type. Okay. So first example, we can see the array. In the Java, we have the string. String is also a data type. Okay. It is considered as the data types also, and it is also considered as the class in the Java. So like that also.
Class also.
Sorry.
Class is also a complex data type. Class. Because it may contain any type of data.
It may be.
Class itself.
It may be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, we have some complex data type in our HiveQL or the Hive query language, that is the array. And I think there is no requirement for the array to be explained in this session, because this array is same as what we are knowing about the array. And if you are familiar with the Java, the same is here. Okay. Then we have the map. And if you are the student of the Java development team, it will be clear. It is present in the collection part, that is the map. It takes the value in the form of the key and value. Okay. Then we have the structs. What is this structs? That is, this struct is something that is related with the complex data type, where we are going to store the some different n number of the columns. How to create the database in HiveQL? Can anybody answer that? How to create the database in the MySQL or any RDBMS?
In MySQL, create database name.
Yeah, that is the create database is the command. Okay. So same here in the Hive also, for creating the database, we have the create database, and on the screen you may be able to see some point that is written, that is if not exists. Means it is not mandatory part. You can leave this one. You can simply write create database and name of the database. Okay. Then all the thing, approx all the query languages of the HiveQL is similar to the our SQL or the Oracle database. That is the create for the creating of the table or the database. Next we have the show command. Show command is also used in the MySQL for showing the tables or the databases. Okay. Now for drop, what is the meaning of drop? Can anybody explain what is this drop command? No one? This drop command is simply used to
table we can draw.
So it is simply
the table or
I got one answer. What is that answer? Dropping variables from the table. Drops the variables from the table, and the same time it's also drop the table, not only the variables from the table. Okay. So we have the same command drop here in our HiveQL. So almost all the operators or the commands or the functions we have seen in the MySQL or the any RDBMS that are almost similar to the present in the HiveQL also. Now we have to see some of the inbuilt operators. What are the different inbuilt operators in HiveQL? So for that inbuilt operators, we have the some category. First one is the relational operator, second one is the arithmetic operator, third one is the logical and complex. So this relational operator, what is inside this relational? equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, is null, is not null. So this is same as what we have seen. Next one is the arithmetic. Arithmetic, this is also similar to the our different database languages. What are the different database language? You can get, or it may be present in the Java also. That is the arithmetic operators, plus, minus, division, multiplication, modulus. Here logical and, logical or logical JOR. So all three are also included in the arithmetic only. Okay. Now we have something that is logical. No, whatever we have seen here, and that is the bitwise operator that is present in the Java or any language, that is a bitwise operator. Now we have logical operator, that is logical and, logical or whatever the same is present in the Hive also. Now we have some complex operator. What are the different complex operator? So first one is the, you may be able to see it on the screen, A of n. What does it means? It simply means that array A is an array of size n. So there is no need to give any further descriptions for this one. Each and everything is clearly mentioned. Now we have to see what are the built-in functions. What are the built-in functions? We have seen the built-in operators. Now we have to see inbuilt functions that are present in the HiveQL. So first one is the begin type, that is known as the round. What is the meaning of this round? It's simply a round of your value in the double type. Second one is the floor. Suppose a value is given as a 3.4, it will, if you are going to calculate the floor value of that one 3.4, it will give you the 3. Then we have the cell. Cell means it will give you, if the 3.4 is given, the cell value of that will be 4. Then rand, for the random access. Okay, this random is present with one speed type, or it may be without any speed. One message, the tables. Okay. Next we have the string type. Whatever the different string operators present in the Java or any other, maybe just consider the Java one only. So that are also present. Some of them are present in the HiveQL. That is the concat. What is the meaning of the concat? It simply add the to a string. Then we have the substring to finding out the particular string. Then we have the substring of different types, means it should take the 3 parameters. Okay, one start, one length, and the value. We have some aggregate functions that we may be familiar in other languages. That is the first one, that is the count. What is the meaning of this count? It will simply count the number of the data present here. Then second one is the sum, that is also present in the MySQL or RDBMS language. Average, that is also present. Then max, mean, all are similar. Views are also present in the RDBMS. Index, what is the basic purpose of the index? The basic purpose of the index is simply to use in the searching. Okay, now we don't have any more topics in the Hive. This is the only basic part of the Hive. We have to see now how to install the Hive in our system, and then we have to do some query language. If you have downloaded the Java and installed that, and installed the Hadoop, and now you have downloaded the Hive also, what should be the next? How to set up the Hive? So same process, we have to move toward the bash shell, that is the .bashrc, and there after all the Hive means Java and Hadoop, you have to set the Hive installation directory along with the path. So for that we have the command, you may better know. So that is the export Hive install or Hive home. Then you have to provide the location where your Hive is present. Then you have to give the path where your Hive bin directory is present. Same thing like the pig also only, when you just set this one, now you have to launch the Hive shell. How you are going to launch the Hive shell? So this Hive shell can be launched directly. After setting this path, you can go to the terminal prompt type the simple command, that is the hive, and make enter. You will be redirected toward the hive cell. As you may be able to see it on the screen, that after typing this hive, it is redirecting to the hive cell like the pig one only. Now here, whatever you want to do, you can do. All the MySQL or the Oracle query that are present in the hive, we can check it out. Or if something extra is also present in the hive, that you can also check it out. So for that, you have to first install the hive. So I am going to send you the link for the hive 0.12 version in the document along with this PPT. You can check it out, and you have to download the hive 0.12. okay, and that may be the file around the size of the 77 or 70